Hey there, boys and girls, and welcome to Science in the Lab. What we're going to be focusing on today is we're looking at Earth's forces, and pertainingly, we're going to be looking at how do landforms form. The very first landform that we're going to look at is a volcano. So let's go ahead and look at the materials that we need to demonstrate our landform volcano. So we do need some paper towels for cleanup. We have our vinegar with some food coloring. We have baking soda. We have our little cap that we need, a pipette, our paper plate, and we have our 4 different colors of clay. You also need to follow along with using your student journal from your STEM scopes, okay? So let's go ahead and get started. So we are going to be looking at how does an erupting volcano affect Earth's surface. So we're gonna go ahead and demonstrate how that happens, okay? So with our cap, we're going to tightly pack it with some baking soda and place it in the center of your plate. Then we're going to get our pipette and we're gonna fill it up as much as we can with vinegar, and we're going to see our volcano eruption. Okay, so now let's look at our eruption. Let's look at how did it affect the landform around it. So what we're going to do is we are going to trace around the volcano eruption. Now, what I'm going to do is we're going to draw in our student journal the first lava flow. So right here is our volcano in the center, and around is where I had my volcano erupt. And now this is on a flat surface. So what we're gonna go ahead and do next is we're going to clean this up. We're going to soak up all of the vinegar that erupted. And we're going to do a second try. But in this second try, what we're going to do in this area that we traced out, we're going to shape out some land using some clay. So I'm going to start off with some red. And I want to put a layer of clay in the formation that we traced out of where that lava flowed. So now that I have my landform and it's elevated a bit more, I'm gonna go ahead and make sure I put my cap in the middle where I had it. So I'm gonna have it there, and we're gonna do the same process again. So again, we're going to fill up our bottle cap, tightly packed. And we're going to do the same thing again, filling up our pipette and on the volcano. So now let's trace out our volcano eruption again. Now this time, the volcano eruption went further out. So same process again. We're gonna go ahead and clean this up.
As I am cleaning up, please draw your second lava flow on the second box.
And now this time, we're going to use another color. So next, I'll go ahead and I'll use green. And we're going to trace out the land that it got affected. Now, if you notice, we're adding more land. We're making the volcano higher, elevated than it originally was. So now again, the bottle cap was centered in the plate. So now let's do this again. Third time. We're going to tightly pack it. Can't get my fingers on that. Same process again. Now let's see what happens now that it's at a higher elevation. Now you can see again, the lava flows off the land and goes further onto the plate. So let's trace this out.
As I am cleaning up, go ahead and draw your
again
third lava
for
flow on the box
Another
provided.
try. What do you think is going to happen now that I'm going to add a third layer of land? So now this time we're going to go ahead and go with the yellow, or let's go with the pink color. Some less. Gotta open that one. So now we're going to go ahead and add some land here. And let's go ahead and now we're going to place our cap again where it was, and we're going to tightly pack our cap. Let's go ahead and pour in that vinegar. Did you guess it? Did you say it was going to flow out more onto the paper plate? If you notice that, you're correct. So now my lava is further out onto the land.
As I start cleaning up,
for one last
go ahead and
try,
draw your last,
go ahead and
the
put
fourth lava
the yellow
flow
Play-Doh
in the box on your handout.
Cover over our trace that we made, and we're going to make our landform even a bit higher. So for one last try, let's see what happens. Now that our land is even higher than originally placed, tightly pack. We're going to place it in the center. I'm going to fill up our pipette. Let's see. Look at that lava flow down the volcano. Now every step as we were going, you were supposed to pause and draw. Okay, so at the end, you should have your 4 drawings. Now what I want you to go ahead and do once you're done, do volcanoes change land's Earth's surface quickly or slowly? What do you think? Is it something that happens very quick, or does it happen slowly over years, over time? Okay, we'll come back and we're going to go ahead and do the next landform, which is landslides. Okay, so now we're moving on to part 2 of our activity. How do landslides change the land? So for this activity, we have a hill of land, and we are going to be looking at how do landslides change the land. So what we're going to have is we're going to have 3 different pictures: before the rain, after the drizzle, and heavy rain. So what I want you to go ahead and do is pause for a second, and you're going to draw your landform how it looks right now in the first box, before the rain. So now what we're going to do is we're going to look at how does the landform change with just a drizzle. So we have some water in a bottle. So now what I want you to do is, after this drizzle, how does the landform look? Was there any changes? So I want you to go ahead and go to your next box in your handout and draw your landform after the drizzle. So go ahead and draw. So now let's see what happens to our land after a heavy rain.
Oh my.
So now what we're going to go ahead and do is you're going to draw how did this landform change after the heavy rain. So you're going to draw your landform now. So now on your handout, what you're going to do is you're going to answer your following 2 questions. What forces cause landslides? Do landslides tear down, build up, or both? Explain.